Hello, my name is Jadwiga. Welcome to my fairy tale channel, and I think it's time for another English fairy tale. So the story I'm going to tell you is from Romania, and it's called Stan Bolovan. Stan Bolovan was a young man, a woodcutter, and he was living in the woods. And his wife was very, very sad because they had no children. So he eventually became sad himself. One day when he was walking in the woods to cut some wood, an old man stopped him and said, "Hey, Stan Bolovan, why do you look so sad?" And he said, "Because we have no children." "Are you sure you want children?" "Yes, I am," said Stan. "And are you sure you can feed them?" "Sure," said Stan. "We are not rich, but there is always enough." Well, with these words, the old man disappeared. But when Stan removed back home, he couldn't believe what he saw, because there were 100 children in his house, in the garden, on the road, in the woods, everywhere. And his wife was more than happy. And she said, "Stan, we have 100 children. And they are all beautiful and perfect." So now it became indeed hard to feed these 100 children. And one day there was nothing more left to eat. And Stan was desperate. He said, "How can I feed this huge family?" But his wife said, "Well, God gave you 100 children. And so, since he did that, he will give you food for them. Go and make your luck." So Stan left home and eventually reached a shepherd. And the shepherd was very desperate, because he said, "Every night a huge dragon comes here and takes some of my sheep, takes the milk, takes the cheese, and there is not left enough for myself, for my family, and it's getting less and less every night. I don't know what to do." "Well," said Stan, "what would you give me if I get rid of that dragon?" "Oh, I would give you whatever you need," said the shepherd. And that night, Stan stayed awake, waiting for the dragon. And when this fierce dragon appeared, Stan was frightened, and his first idea was, "Run away as fast as you can." But then he remembered his 100 hungry children. So he stood up and said, "Stop! I am the strongest man on earth. I am Stan Bolovan, and I don't allow you to take any sheep." The dragon looked at Stan, and actually he did not look as you would expect the strongest man on earth to look like. He was not very tall or didn't have many muscles, so just an ordinary man. So the dragon did not really believe that and said, "Prove that. Show me how strong you are." And Stan took that cheese, this piece of sheep cheese, out of his pocket, squeezed it that the water dripped out, and said, "Well, take a stone and show me that you can do that." So the dragon grabbed a stone, but no matter how hard he squeezed, there was no water coming out. And he said, "Well, we could need a man like you helping us, so do you want to come with me?" "Sure," said Stan. "What do you pay?" "Oh, you get 100 gold thalers after 1 week." "That sounds good," said Stan, and he followed the dragon. The dragon's mother She did not like Stan. She did not trust him. She was very suspicious. And next morning she told Stan to throw up a huge and heavy backside of a horse or whatever animal. And Stan stood there, looked at that huge piece of meat with a bone, and he knew he would not even be able to lift it, no matter to throw it up into the sky. So he stood there and just looked when the dragon came and said, "Why don't you throw it up?" "Oh," said Stan, "I just thought it would be a pity for that good meat to waste it." "Why waste it?" said the dragon. "You just throw it up and it comes back down." No, said Stan. "When I throw it behind the moon. And I don't think it will return back." "Behind the moon," said the dragon. I don't believe that. Show me." "Well," said Stan, "I'm afraid I would hit the moon and it might break apart. So just let us wait until the moon has moved away, and then I will throw that meat." But the dragon did not want to wait so long, so he said, "Okay, that's it." The next day, the dragon mother sent them out to get water with huge and heavy buckets to the well to bring up the water and carry it back to the home. Stan knew he wouldn't even be able to carry one of those buckets once they are filled with water, and no chance to carry them all. So he started digging around the well, and the dragon asked, "What are you doing?" "Oh," said Stan, "I think it's crazy to carry the water from the well to the house. I just dig out the well and bring it to the house, and then it's much easier." No, said the dragon. "This well has been there as long as I may think, and it has been there for generations. It has to stay there. Don't move it." And the dragon himself took all the buckets with water and carried them home. The third morning, the dragon's mother sent them out into the forest to get some trees. The dragon started cutting trees, but Stan climbed up a tree with a rope in his hand, and when the dragon asked, "Hey, what are you doing up there?" Stan said, "Oh, I will twist that rope around the whole forest and then can pull it out all at once. That's much less work than cutting them all one by one." No, said the dragon. No, we still need that forest. We just want a couple of trees." And he took the trees he had already cut and carried them home. That night, Stan heard the dragon say to his mother, "We want to get rid of him. Just let him get this money, this gold tailors for him, and then send him away and we get rid of him." "No," said his mother. No. "You will kill him tonight while he's lying in bed, and so we get rid of him and still save our gold tailors." And that was the plan. That night when Stan went to bed, he arranged the blankets and cushions in a way that it seemed that he was laying there in bed, and himself creeped under the bed. And at midnight, the dragon came with a huge stick and threw onto that bed many times until he was sure he had killed Stan Bolovan. The next morning, Stan crawled out under the bed, went to the dragon and his mother and said, I think there has been a mosquito tonight biting me. And you can imagine how frightened the dragon and his mother were to see Stan healthy and alive, just complaining about a mosquito stitch. So they said, well, take your money, take your gold tailors, and leave us. Oh no, said Stan. I just had decided to stay a little bit longer with you because it seems you really need me. Ooh, now the dragon and his mother became really afraid, and they said, take 3 sacks of gold and even more if you want. That's an offer, said Stan. But, I won't go home on my own. I want you, dragon, to come with me. Because how should he have carried all that gold? He was not strong enough. So he loaded it up on the dragon's back, and together they walked to Stan's home. When the 100 children saw them coming, they came out and said, Daddy's here, and oh, you've got something to eat for us. And the dragon was so afraid, he threw off the gold and ran away and never, ever returned back. Yeah, this is the story of Stan Bolovan, a really smart and courageous man who succeeded to feed his 100 children.